Hello, happy Valentine's Day. I wear my Valentine sweater. How you guys doing? I rolled on here, so I haven't got a chance to say hello to anybody, or I don't even know who's here yet. We'll see. I was setting stuff up, but I left the door open for the cat. So we shall see if we have a special guest today, because he is crazy. So hello, happy Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, love of all things day. How you guys doing? This is going to be a fun one today because I've just randomly grabbed a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go over the list because you might not know what I'm going to use today because I haven't really talked about it yet. But I want to do something with texture paste, with ink, with tissue paper. We're going to cluster and layer just one side of the page. So this could be one side of your card. So really today we'll probably just get the technique stuff done, and then you can elevate it to a layout or card, or it could go in your art journal. This is a perfect art journal thing. We could even do it like it's going in the art journal, and I could do a spread, and then you could use this for a page. So let me know what the general consensus is, because I could do it like an art journal spread today, and then the same technique. Oops. Everything is moving on me. Because it was like a hot mess trying to run down here, trying to get stuff done. I woke up at 6:30 too. I've been at it since 6:30 today, so you would think, right? I have my stuff together, but I am who I am. I can't apologize for it because I am who I am. Thank you. Isn't it fun? Because this is how much I love you guys, this much. So yeah, we could do an art journal spread. I will just cut my page like it's going to be the spread for my art journal and decorate the sides. And then the concept of this is clustering and layering off edges. So then your design can go in the middle. So I can do it as a spread, and then this could go on a card. Like this could be translated into anything. So if I do it as an art journal spread, if you were here and you're like, I want to do a layout, just scale it bigger. So do exactly what I'm doing. Sorry, stuff just keeps popping up on here. I did this already. Just scale it bigger, right? Just scale it bigger. Yes, I'm with my Galentines today. I love it. Hello. So I'll do an art journal spread that can go in our art journal. And this is kind of building on our technique. And I'm on a Saturday anyway, so why not just switch it all up? But you picking up what I'm putting down? You could do this technique on whatever you want to do. What am I going to use? I'm going to use 49 and Market inks. I'm going to go with reds, pinks, and blues. That's my color palette for today. I have black stamping ink. I have some tissue paper. I have my matte acrylic gel, because you don't have to do this step, but I want to put that layer down, and then I want to put texture paste on top that we can add pigment on top of. So we're going to layer. I have some washi tape. You could grab rub-ons if you want. Stamps, background stamps. So I have the one I'm going to use is going to be text, like a typewriter text. I have polka dots, just some random stuff. And then I grab some heart stencils. So I have this one that's the new Sizzix one that if you're Canadian, you don't have this yet. Because we'll talk about the week I've had, which is typical. Like I feel like you're like, yeah, it's what you always say, but it seems to be what I'm always up against. People don't like to do jobs these days. Like I feel like there's no customer service or quality in anything, and then it makes me look like my customer service is bad because I sat all week and waited for my delivery to come. I was at Greta's last week. She packed up the pallet. It was picked up on Monday. I paid for 2-day shipping. I waited, and I'm like, fine, if it comes on Friday, I am ready to get all my orders packed. And nothing. And then on top of it, no calls or anything to set up delivery for next week. So, and then it's a holiday here on Monday. We have Family Day weekend here. So it is a 3-day weekend. So now, right? So just know US orders have gone out. Canadian orders have not. I will be sending those next weekend. And everybody who is waiting on their Canadian order will also get a special gift that I'm going to add to all those boxes because I feel really bad, right? Because it's all, I'm sitting there ready. Everything's printed. Invoices all ready to go. Boxes are ready. And my whole palette of product didn't arrive. So we'll be on it. And I just want you guys to know that it's more for the Canadians, right? Is that I'm on it. I'm condensing. If you ordered more than one thing, I will condense all the orders, refund the extra shipping. They're all stapled together. So when I go to process all of them, I know, right? We've had such a horribly sad, unthinkable school shooting. Yes, in BC. Yeah, Canada. It is absolutely horrific. So it has been a really rough week, right? So sending all the love to my fellow Canadians in BC. It has, right, been a lot. It's all a lot. And I'm just trying to, stay positive, and we meet up here and we do the things, and this is all we can do. I feel like in senseless world, sometimes when you feel like you don't have any control, do the things, I guess, that you can control. So thank you for showing up here and hanging out, because it's tough, right? It's tough. So sending love out that way. Yeah. And I don't even watch most of the news anymore. I can't handle it, right? It's a lot. So yes, sending lots of love to my friends in BC, and just Canadians. We're not used to this kind of violence. So it is really hits, I think, extra hard. Not that every single act of senseless violence doesn't affect all of us, but definitely, I don't know why we don't expect it here. I think because the guns, like, we don't, it's not as much of a thing in Canada, but mental health is an issue, and it doesn't matter where you are. And if people aren't getting treated for what they need and all the rest of it, it can turn really sad and ugly. So sending lots of love, and let's make some art. And let's connect with all of our friends here, because, like I said, it is the one thing we can control. And I think it's important to take the time for yourself to do something creative, because, I get lost in that and I don't have to think about some of the other stuff. So, like I said, it's going to be heart themed today, but if that's not your jam, whatever theme, you just want layerable pattern. So my hearts are going to be center stage on this one. And then, like I said, I want to layer things. So whatever you want to layer, you could make your own washi tape if you don't have it. Only thing we're going to keep in mind when you go to decoupage the tissue paper, this resists distress ink. Okay, so if you put this down on your page and you want to go and ink everything up, it won't stick to wherever that medium is, which can be fun because it can also act as a resist technique without having to heat emboss. So we'll talk about those things, because I have tons of this stuff that I will list in my store eventually. We're cleaning stuff out, right? A little bit of everything we've been listing, and you guys have been showing up. Holy crap. We had tons of orders to fill, and I love and appreciate every single one of you that place those orders, so that it gives Greta and I something to do, right? So I'm going to flip the camera without further ado, and let's talk about the thought process behind what we're doing today. And like I said, I am going to do it. Hello, Jessica. I am going to do it on a spread that can go in my art journal. And I can then use the technique for, right? This is our play. This will be our play session. And then you can decide, like, how would you adapt this to a scrapbook page? How would you adapt this to a card? Just a piece of art if you just want to do a big mixed media background. So like I said, I have heart stencils. I have some simple, let me flip. I'll see what your question is in a second, Beth. I have to see, because it goes away when I'm looking at my phone, and I have to get this stuff to stop popping up here. So Beth had asked about your SBC Fest class. If I stitch on my paper after I do my homework, would I mess it up? Well, you just haven't seen the layouts yet. So, oh my goodness. I don't know why this keeps popping up. Sorry, friends. I was printing stuff today, so let me just close some stuff and see why that's happening. Okay, that should prevent it. what I would suggest with that is why don't you wait to see what the layouts are? But I don't, you know what I mean? Because we have to piece it all together. So I love the stitching idea. I would do more of it, but not everybody has a sewing machine. So I don't do it as much, but that's what I would recommend, right? Is maybe add it after, because the recording is live. I will be there chatting away, but it's already recorded and done. So that's what I would say is yes to stitching, but maybe wait to see what direction we're going in, so you know that the stitching is going in the direction that you want it to, that it will highlight the areas you want to. So if you're like, what is she talking about? So I will be teaching a free class with scrapbook.com SBC Fest. You can see my homework video, and please use my share sale links, because that's how that works when all of us artists are doing those classes, that it's really helpful if you use my links to purchase your kit. It doesn't cost you anything, but then they can track where the traffic comes from, and we get a little piece of it. So it's super helpful. But yes, SBC Fest, I think that's like next week. No, March. It's in March, right? Like a month. It's about a month from now. So it's going to be fun. And like I said, we're doing 3 double page layouts. We have tons left over. So I'm going to end up doing a bonus class out of all of that. And if you have done cut and paste with me before, and some were like, is this different? Yes, they're all brand new layouts. And then we're going to do some new stuff with it too. So it's going to be fun. So yes, that's what that is. Anything else to catch up on? So the kits, the stuff that's been shipping out now is my new Sizzix, my new Irresistibles with 49 in Market, which I'm waiting for everybody to get their packages from me, and then I'm going to do a whole thing with that. So, and then the new inks from 49 in Market. So that is what I'm waiting to ship out. The US ones all went. Greta sent everything out yesterday and today. She even got on it and sent some stuff out before her nail appointment. And mine will go out next weekend. So there's a delay, but like I said, I'm going to add a sorry that shipping never works for me in this Canadian world. And I will put a gift in with the Canadian orders, and I will be condensing shipping and refunding shipping. So I feel like that's the minutes from our last meeting, right? I see lots of questions, so give me a sec once I flip it. But friends, I just have to say, it's really hard because I have so much stuff that's been happening that I have to wait for the releases. Like, you will be joining me for my next, I got the word from Janine, my next release with 49 in Market is going to be out the beginning of March. So I will share details on that and do the walkthrough and all the fun things. So that's coming. Greta, there's Greta. You know, my whatever, what do you call it in crime? Partner in crime. And then some other exciting stuff is, what did I say about you? That you're awesome and you got all the stuff out. You were shipping packages and even shipped stuff out today before you went to get your nails done, right? Crap, just joining. You haven't missed anything. I talk a lot at the beginning, right? So haven't missed anything. I'm going to flip the camera though, and then you don't have to look at me. We still can talk. And I see Sarah's here as well. I just had a hiccup. And I'm going to say proper hellos to all of my friends when I flip the camera around. But yay, there's lots of you here today because this was kind of a short notice. I didn't go live yesterday because I was waiting for my delivery. So then I'm like, well, I'm not ready now because I waited all day and didn't find out till 4:30 that it said that it was on the truck on the way, that it actually wasn't coming, that they have to set up a delivery appointment. Yet no one has called me for an appointment. So I will get on it. You know I'm on it. I'm fighting always for you guys. And for me, I hate it because it makes me look like I'm delayed and holding your stuff hostage. And I'm like, no, I want to get it out and get us ready for the next round of goodies, right? So here, let's flip. Boop. There we go. And then let's talk about today. I'm going to look through the comments so I can answer questions, okay? Because I know I've missed stuff. Just a second. My light, I have to tighten it. There we go. Move stuff around. Getting my stuff out of the way. My pop socket. I can't leave that. I need that pop socket. Don't let me forget. Okay. So yes, and the other thing for any of my friends coming to Scrap Fest in Kitchener, my class might be sold out now. I have not looked. Last time I looked, there were only a couple spots left. But we're also going to have a table set up. So I'm going to bring lots of stuff there that we're going to be selling. Rich and Devin are going to be working. Greta's going to come and help me set up before she has to take off to a concert because she likes to have a life that doesn't include me. Okay, see a question. Will you always talk a lot in the beginning? It gives us all a chance to get ready. Always, right? Because there's tons of stuff that I have to share before we get rolling. Because it's like I have a week's worth of stuff to share always when I come live, right? Yeah, and Greta knows because I was like, woohoo, the order's on its way. And then I text her and I'm like, crap. They lied. The order's not on the way. I called the freight company that I use and they're like, oh no, they have to set up a delivery. So now I know. Like you learn every single time. So now I know that I will hound them. As soon as I know that it's been picked up, I will call the company and make sure that stuff. But you know, hindsight is always 20/20. But you don't know what you don't know. Hi, Kristen. How are you? Can't wait to get my order from Greta. Yep, they shipped. Show us your shirt. It's a giant sequin heart. I have like 20 million heart sweaters. I will always, if it's a cute one, I will buy another one. And let's see. So there was another question I missed. Let me see. Yeah, we will see where we're at with foundations paper because I'm trying to source it. Like we can't let that go. So it will be part of the Vicky Booten brand eventually. I just have to make sure it's the right quality of paper. So I'm on that. I will 100% be ordering that in huge amounts so that it's always available. You just got to give me a little time on that one. Make a note of that too, Greta, because that's something I need to follow up on. Thank you. She's like, it's Saturday. Do it yourself. I would love to learn about stitching with sewing machine. Yes, and I will share that because I struggle. Because I think if you guys have watched, you've been around for a while, I love to sew on layouts. I love texture. So I hand stitch a little bit, but I don't have the patience for that. I love the look of it, but it's not necessarily my jam to hand stitch all over. Not saying that I wouldn't. It's just not something I do normally, but I will use a sewing machine and I love gold thread. But I have this thing where all of the thread keeps knotting at the back of the layout. And I think it's because my needle isn't sharp enough. But again, I'm self-taught. I don't know anything. So Becky was saying, I screwed up the cuts on the green paper. Can the dotted green paper be substituted for, just wait. I would say, Becky, wait until we get there and make that decision then. Because there's a lot of extras in there, but some of it could be used for bases of the layout. So I would say there's going to be something you can replace it with, but I would say wait for now, if that's helpful. Did I miss anything else? So hello, everybody. Hi, Irma. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer, did you see your package went out today? Thank you for your patience on that prize that you were on my other email. And I told you, yes, I'm on it, and then totally forgot, and I remembered today. So, yeah. You guys never feel bad if I've promised you something and I forget about it. Email me multiple times. I never get mad. I'm always thankful for the reminder because I'm in my 50s, so I have that excuse. And then I have a terrible memory period anyway. Hello, Yarlise. How are you? Hi, Virginia. Hi, Robin. Hi, guys. So did I miss any other questions? I'm going down now because I was scrolling backwards. Okay. So today, this was my thought process. I want to get really kind of crazy with layers, but I want it in a contained area. So you could use gesso with this, or you could use texture paste, or you could use a metallic paste. I wanted to go in kind of with white, right? And then ink on top of it. Okay, so I have molding paste. You can use whatever you have or not the step at all. I also was thinking it would be kind of fun to add tissue paper if we stamp some tissue paper as a textural layer And then I can add it with the matte acrylic gel. So it's kind of decoupage. We're going to do some collage today, because that's what I feel. Funky heart collage is kind of the jam. Now, the only thing is, you got to remember, this resists distress ink, water-soluble ink, because it is an acrylic. And then these are kind of washable inks, watery inks. So if you want color, you have to be aware of, before you apply this, if you go to add ink after, you're not going to see it on that area. It'll wash off. Okay? Now we're going to try to trick it a little bit by putting the matte acrylic gel under the tissue paper, and then do some of our technique, and then we can seal it at the end. Okay? So one of the things today, we're going to have to wait for things to dry, right? You have to replace a needle, and it should solve the problem with your thread. I'm going to try that, Marie, right? Marie. Because it was working beautifully, but because I stitch on heavy paper, I think the needle dulls really fast, and it either gets caught in the bobbin or it all knots behind, and then the thread, you know what I mean, gets stuck, jammed. So I got to figure that out, and I'll have to play around with it. So with that being said, I have a couple different Vicki Boutin stencils with hearts on it. This was one that I think, I'm going to say this was in Sweet Rush. I don't know if you guys remember. I'm guessing, I'm not going to lie. I think this was in Sweet Rush. This one was an exclusive that came out at some point, the doodled hearts. And then this is the new heart one that came out with my Sizzix release. So, Gesso resist distress ink. Yes, it will as well. Most that I have used will as well. But you could always use a watered down acrylic paint, and then you won't have that issue because it's acrylic as well. But you'll see, I'll try to show you something quick today with using the matte medium. Oh my goodness, did you see my brain just totally stopped? Just like my sewing machine. So I have these. This is the one ideally I'd like to use, which I probably will, is this one, but whatever you have. So if you're not going to use hearts, you just want a repeatable pattern that is kind of a solid like that. Okay, so if you're like, what is that? What are you talking about? You want something that is a repeated pattern that has open space. Okay? Yes, I know that is totally your jam, Sarah. Sarah likes the heart stencils. And then if you have something that's kind of repeatable pattern, these could be good for layering, because this will work beautifully as a linear aspect with this kind of pattern. So anything that is kind of a repeatable linear pattern. So let me show you other, I don't know what I have in these. I didn't grab all of the stencils, but that could maybe work. You could probably get away with, and that one is the heart one. You just want another repeatable pattern that'll kind of work with that. So I like to not have too many options, so I will just have these here. Let's get rid of those stencils. I love red rubber stamps. If you go to like the charity shops or resale and people are getting rid of these, buy them. I would like to reach out and see if I can't do some exclusives in red rum, that we could do some definition kind of book, music notes, polka dots, and script. So I'm working on those, because I don't know, do you guys all have red rubber? And I'm going to tell you, when we get them, I'm just going to do cling stamps like this. But I'm going to reach out, because I have a company I love that still does red rubber stamps. And I think we need a set of Vicki Boutin red rubber stamps, because not everybody has these, right? Not everybody has these. And so that if I'm going to use them, I would like you to be able to source them. So Greta, add that to the list too. But I would like to do some red rubber stamps that we can use, because then we can stamp into mediums. And right, this is our whole year of learning new things. So Going to be working on that. Like do a version of this, like a polka dot, a version of text, a version of music notes, a version of script, maybe a scrolls, some things that I just think work beautifully in a cling red rubber. So watch for that. That's going to, in this year, that is on my list to do. So I have a background stamp. I have my stencils. I have my texture paste. So whatever you want to use, you could go in with gold if you don't have this. Just because you don't have all the things doesn't mean you can't play today. Even if you don't have anything like this, don't do this step, right? This is to put my tissue paper down. My tissue paper is just this Japanese writing paper, so it's just what I could find, because remember, I just came down here, so I just found the things. So it's not as tissue-y as it could be, but it is good enough, right? We're going to use what we have, so look. What a piece of tissue. I grabbed some washies, because maybe I'm going to want to put a layer of washi tape on there. I don't know. But I just grabbed something quick because I was late. Random question. What do you use mineral paper for? Mineral paper. Mineral paper. I have to look that up, because I probably have notes on that somewhere, but it's not ringing a bell right now. Mineral paper. I will buy, to be honest with you, all types of paper, because I'm a paper manipulator and I love mixed media. So I buy all different types of paper and then use them. So I will go online and I will search up like tea bag paper and different types of paper, because if it's pulped and it is something I can use in my mixed media, I will have all of it. You can get washi paper, like there's tons of stuff that you can have. But I gotta make a note so I can look that up, Jennifer. You know my email. Just send me an email and I will do a deep dive. The package of washi is so pretty. Yes, this one was, I think I should put it in my store. I think I have a box of this left. But this one is the cut and paste washi. So you might not even seen this. You might not have even seen this. Would you guys, do you have any interest in me doing washi tape anymore? I just feel like there's been so much that I have not included that in any collections. I usually am like, I feel like everybody has a lot of washi. Why red rubber instead of, they're way deeper. See how deep that impression is? It's way deeper. They just are way more detailed in the red rubber than they are in the process that creates the clear photopolymer stamps. So red rubber is like, there's a technique we could do, which here, let me show you. I have a sample of it over here. So this is it's probably dusty, one of the projects from my book. See that background? That is molding paste. And I probably use this stamp or something similar. And then you can stamp in the molding paste, it dries, and then you can add detail, right? So, yes. I've been doing this stuff for many, many moons, right? And I just feel like we need to bring a lot of this kind of stuff back. So, yes. So, Brenda is saying yes to washi. I replaced ribbon in my scrap brain. It replaced ribbon in my scrap brain, and I love it. So yes, I'll look at, we can revisit some washi tape then. We'll look at it. And I think even doing it in single rolls instead of big packs would be great. So even if I brought like 1 or 2 rolls of washi out. But I like kicking it old school, like the washi, like 7 Gypsy style washi. I like it to look like old book paper and stuff like that. So it's a neutral, and then you can do lots of stuff with it, right? Okay, so ink colors, I'm gonna go with some blue, and then I grabbed these. I might grab one more pink, but it's kind of, my jam is gonna be kind of a warm pink red palette. And then I'm going to go into with the detail in navy and black. I have black stamping ink too. Tell me all the things you want to see, because I'm doing lots of fun stuff. So if you love, there's product that you've loved in the past that you would like to see again, just let me know, right? And then when we're in the middle of doing all of the product development, then we can do the things. So the biggest thing today is going to be the product drying, right? That these are wet mediums. I want to hear about your cruises. So friends, guess what I'm in the process of? The 2027 cruise I have selected. I am just waiting for the contract from Cruise and Crop, and it is going to be in May of next year, and it is going to be in Spain and Portugal. So be watching for that. Spain and Portugal. It's going to be on Celebrity because we can't get the crop space on Royal. So be watching for that. The cruise information for next year is going to be Spain and Portugal, and that information will be coming soon. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome. So I think that will be fun, and I think May will be a beautiful time of the year, and I'm really excited. So just be watching for that information to come out. So because I'm going to put this in my art journal, remember what we made, so this page is going to go inside one of these. I put elastics on here for now. Let's decide what size I'm going to cut. Waiting for the driver to pick us up and take us to the ship. 35 days in Hawaii and Tahiti. Have a great time, Rita. I might be leaving tomorrow too, but it's only for 4 days. I'm going back to the video making the book and playing with the gel plate. Yeah, I love it. It's fun, right? Oh, the rub-ons are coming. You don't have to worry about that. Oh, I was just going to show you something. I would have got in trouble. I was just going to show you the new rub-ons that are coming out in March. I was just going to show you. Want to see rub-ons? And then when I can't show you that, I would have gotten big trouble. So yes, I love that too. I know. Oh my goodness. I didn't know it was because of illness. Is he doing okay? We'll talk, because I know that you're going to be there, Beatrice, so we will talk. But I saw that she canceled. That's sad. I'm going back. Yes, this is fun. This is a fun one. We'll be doing more of that. Question: where do we look for cruise information to Spain? It has not posted yet. It hasn't posted yet because I have to sign the contract. So I haven't got it, but I did select it. It is on hold. Like, they've held the cruise space for us. So I'm very excited about that one. The ports look amazing, and we've talked about that, something that we wanted to do. So I went with the Portugal and Spain one. I thought it would be fun. No sneaks. No sneaks. I don't know. Friends, I'm just telling you, you guys are going to freaking be so excited. What can I sneak? What can I sneak? Let's see. It's just going to be so beautiful. Okay. I'm sneaking something. Are you ready for it? I got to come in from the edge, and I got to make sure that you can't see everything. But it's beautiful. I'm not going to sneak the rub-ons, but I want you to see kind of, I'm coming in from the corner. Can you see it yet? Can you see it? Can you see it? See a sneak? It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. It's beautiful. There's a sneak. Oh, get out of there, Vicky. The sneak wasn't way more of a sneak than I showed you. I'm telling you, it's absolutely stunning. This next release, and then there's something else that's already ready. It's freaking good. I'm telling you, I wouldn't lie to you. I'm beyond excited. It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yes, color. Sarah, color. So just think, it's like maybe kind of a rainbow vintage vibe. It's going to be good. So just be waiting for that. So you're prepped for this. There's going to be a release in March. There's going to be a release in April. A release in March and a release in April. And it's going to be good. going to be good. It's all I can say. It's going to be good. So my pages are going to be, I'm going to fold it in half. So it'll be 6 inches, and this one, I'm going to do 8.5, 6 by 8.5. So 12 by 8.5. No February. You have a whole, it's a lot, right? So the Irresistibles came out, Sizzix came out, and then the new inks, of course, because I love the 49 and Market inks. So that is it. And then a release in March, and a release in March, April, and then probably not until July, and then September. That's kind of your releases for this year. It's kind of your releases for this year. So 8.5. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm very excited about it, about everything we've been working on. So like I said, I'm doing this as if it's going in my art journal, and I'm practicing a new technique that then this can be used for anything. So we're talking through, I'm going to have like 2 practice things, right? It's hard to wait. It's hard for me to not share all the things because it's all sitting. Both the things I'm talking about are sitting across from me right now. I can see them, both of the things. And I'm telling you, it's going to be good. And then I'm excited, right? Because it has lots, we can plan out kind of our year, right? Because like I have the release, the March one is later than, right? It coming out in March, normally it would be closer to the beginning of the year. So you have a little bit of a gap in between. It's going to come fast and furious with 2 releases around the same time, but it's all going to make sense. It's all going to make sense. It's going to be good. Okay. So let's think about this now. I want to use texture paste. That was kind of my thing today. I wanted to use some texture paste. Texture paste is going to resist your medium, and so is this. We're going to do this right now. I'm going to show you some little technique-y things. Let's do some little technique-y things. So let's put some acrylic glaze down through my stencil because I'm going to show you some things as this dries. So this is a practice and play Saturday. Practice and play Saturday. I want to put some of this through my stencil. We're going to revisit this, do some more technique with this, but for right now, that went through my stencil. Now clean your palette knife off. And friends, I will be listing these. I have a whack of these palette knives. So watch for that when I start clearing out more of my mixed media. Will our classes on the cruise have some of the new stuff? Yes. So for cruise and Scrap Fest, same classes for cruise and Scrap Fest, because I'm only home for 4 days before I go and do the other one. We will be using Sizzix. You're going to be gifted a few, one Sizzix item. I'm pre-cutting some Sizzix stuff. We're using it with foundations paper. We're using ink. I will add more information in the group as well. You're going to get all of the Irresistibles for the cruise, and then new. And it's a mix of a whole bunch of stuff. Because I also want it so you can still do the weekend events. So it's a whole mix of all of the things. Okay? It's a mix of all of the things. But yes, you will get some of that stuff, right? Hello from Belgium. Hello, how are you? What's happening in Belgium? What's the weather like where you are? So see, texture paste, very viscous, nice and thick. I'm going to put a little bit of this on here so you can see how this will also react with. And I love that I can add texture in that. See, I'm just tapping that across. So when I put it on, I can have skippity-boo draggy marks. Do you see that? Because it's heavy body, it will hold that pattern. I love it so much. But now we have to wait for this to dry. And then you're going to see how this will, all of it will resist your inks. So I'm going to set that aside to dry because that's our little tester. But we can still use this on a card or for something later. Setting that aside. And I'm going to get up quick and I'm going to rinse this because I have no other paper towels down here. So I just have to conserve my paper towel. So just give me a sec. I'm going to rinse this. Hi. Hi, Simey. I was just thinking that he didn't come down here and he was just sitting quietly. What are you doing, Menace? Okay. What are you doing, Menace? Hi. Siamese down here. Okay, just gonna dry it. So yes, it's snowing where you are and cold. We just got, when I was driving home yesterday for my shop, I go outside and it's snowing, that really pretty big fluffy snow, but I looked at it and I went, no, I'm done with winter now. Stop with the winter. Where'd you go, kitty cat? Come say hi to everybody. Come say hi. Come say hi. I'm going to show you Simey. You ready? Say hi, kitty cat. Say hi to the friends. Look up. Look, there's the baby. There's a baby cat. He's purring. Go in your bin. Go in your bin. Look. Oops. Sorry, Simey, I dumped him. I didn't mean to dump you in your bin, baby. Here you go. That cat's like, you jerk. I might have just tipped him upside down in the bin. I'm sure he was not impressed. He is a rag doll. He is not happy because I just went to put him in his bin and put him upside down on his head. And he's looking at me like, what is going on? Okay. So we did this, set it aside to dry. When the matte medium dries, it will dry clear, but the texture paste, the molding paste will dry white. So I'm going to let that set up a little bit and then I will use the heat gun. But because they're acrylic, you can't go in with a heat gun with this, it will bubble. So if it gets that skim layer on top, then I can go in usually and cheat. Yeah, he just ran away because he's like, you jerk. You just put me in that bin on my head. I did. Okay, so let's start with our tissue paper today. I want this really to just be like a black and white texture layer. So I'm going to stamp on this with the book paper or book print. So I'm just going to stamp in black on this so we can use this as a textural layer, but I don't really want color on that. Okay. So I'm going to start with this and we're just going to stamp on this. So my friends, if you have a photopolymer stamp that has text or script or stripes, just something that is an all over pattern. I'm going to stand up so it's somewhat straight and I can re-tear it later. Just get in there and stamp. If the whole thing doesn't stamp, does it matter? Not at all. We just want something we can use almost like book paper. Right? Does anybody have any plans for Valentine's Day? I'm old, been married for a long time. We're not doing anything. I'm going to cook supper. I'm going to feed people. I've committed to that today. Okay, good enough. I did stamp and archival ink so that this won't run when it gets wet. Okay. Yeah, we have had a winter this year. We have had a winter this year for sure. So I'm getting rid of that. Do you remember this from, I think it was last week. Remember this? Look how pretty that is. I cut them all out all of that stuff we worked on last week. I cut it all out so it can go in my art journal. You're going to the theater to see a chorus line. I love that. Chores, nothing special. Well, you're with me right now, so something special. You have influenza A, no plans. Oh my goodness, that is not fun. Take care of yourself. Italian restaurant, dinner and a movie, nice. Hello, Valerie. It's your 25th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary. We just realized it was 25. We have no plans. You had a couple weddings this year, so you have not thought about yourself at all. But happy anniversary to you and Les. You should go out for dinner. That's easy. You have some great restaurants. Is Gallows open? Go have my favorite meal. My plan is taking care of my grandsons because my sons went to Shakira. Nice. I love that. Enjoy that. That's fun. It's your 37th wedding anniversary. We celebrate all day. Congratulations. That's awesome. My honey treated me to a lovely Brazilian restaurant yesterday, and it was absolutely wonderful. I love that. Moody. I'm so sorry. Very sad. Oh, you're moody. You're having a bad day. That's okay. You're making art today, hopefully. That always puts me in a better mood. You'll replay this and craft later. I love it, Stella. Right? It fits in, and that's why it's awesome. You guys can come and join me live if you can do it. Some of you could be joining me live in folding laundry because you're like, I can't do this right now. I don't have time. But that's what's awesome. They're recorded, and you can do this whenever you can, right? So we celebrated 29 years last week. So you're good. I love that. Congratulations. It's your 39th wedding anniversary. I love that, right? Hello, Kristen. Going to see the new movie Murder 101. And then every year we make Valentine's Day reservations at a fast food place that they decorate for Valentine's. It's super cute. And you're not a fancy girl. There's nothing wrong with that. You should go where you like. Yeah, Devin is going out. Riley, I'm helping tonight make, remember I told you guys I made flank steak? That was freaking phenomenal. So he wants that. So I'm helping him, but I'll be making it. Make flank steak, and then Rich and I are just I'm going to do a pork tenderloin, and then they'll have leftover I'll make pork fried rice for Riley before we leave. Daniel has a whole day of surprises planned, but I told him Vicky comes first. I love that. Sarah, what did he make that I loved? I'm telling you, when I'm back in Texas, because I'll be back in Texas next year. Next spring, I'll be back in Texas. It's going to be freaking phenomenal. If you guys can come, you're going to want to make it to that one. Last time it sold out in 24 hours. So when we do make the announcement, but I'm probably not supposed to say, but I did. I did anyway. But it's going to be good. Okay, so when I come back, Sarah, I am going to hang out by your table so that I can eat all the food your husband sends. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to tear this now so it can be, right, just kind of a fun little something. And this is also what I'm going to do is this. So now look at that textural layer we just made. Right? Love it. Okay. Now remember, when I put this on, let's just do it. Because this is all about practice and play, and that's why it's great when we're going to do it kind of the art journal way to start, right? So you can do two things. We could put a little bit of pigment down first. Let's do that. I'm going to use my ink blending tool, and I'm going to add a little bit of color. And then I can put this on top so that color will peek through. If you're liking the vibe of just the white, just do the white. We can do it on both sides. I'll test both sides. We'll do both, okay? So I am going to put this down, remembering that anywhere this goes, it's going to resist the ink. So I might add it on the back of my paper. I'm going to try to contain it, okay? So I'm going to add it on the back of the paper and paint it on. I'm going to put my craft mat. Way easier to clean that little thing up, okay? So we're doing collage, a little decoupage, but I want this to go on wrinkly and crinkly. So if I put this on the back of it, then I'm controlling where my matte gel is going, my acrylic gel medium is going, okay? So we're gonna put this on here like this, and then we're gonna wrinkle it and crinkle it. Wrinkle it and crinkle it. I love this so much, friends. Look at that. And I never cut this off while it's wet. When it's dry, way easier to get off. But look at already. How fun is that? So clean up the mess that you make if you're like me. Oh, I was not prepared for that. Let me put some water in that. We used it last week. Remember? I was using that mister all the time. And now look. So, love it. If you want to clip some of it off, you can. But like I said, I'm going to give you some tips. One of the easiest ways to get this off in a nice clean way after is with a nail file. You could totally take your nail file. But that medium, before it dries, allows me to crinkle it up. So I have some texture in there. I love it. Okay. Before I clean everything up, I'm going to put it on this side. Oh, I was going to put ink down. And look, I got so excited I didn't do it. So let's do it on the other side. Put a little bit of pigment down. And I'm going to clip some of this off just because it's messy. And the reason I wouldn't, the scissors were in my teeth. The reason I wouldn't trim this now is it's wet. And it's going to be really hard to trim off. So let it dry and way easier to get it off after, okay? So look, a little bit of boop, boop pattern on here. And then I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to put some pigment with my ink behind it first. So let's do that. Blending tool. Let's put some pigment behind here. I'm going to go in with doll face. And I'm just going to blend a little bit of pigment behind where this is going to go. Don't have to be fancy. I'm going to do lots of stuff later, but I just want some of that color to shine through. Okay. And then I have this strip. I'm going to put some of this up in this corner. So I'm going to layer some different pieces up here. And then you'll see a little bit of the pink shining through. You guys are watching Olympics. I have been living under a rock this week, to be honest with you. I have not watched anything. I don't know a lot of what's going on out in the world today. What kind of paper did you stamp on? So this is, if you look it up on Amazon, it is a, let's see if the packaging is here. It's like a Japanese tissue paper, like you could do Japanese calligraphy on it. I think that's the one. But you'll see, I'm not lying when I say I just order paper. I just go on, there's no wrapping on it. But it came in a big stack like this. I'll look it up and post on here, okay? Because it'll be in my order history, and I'll put it on. But it was from the gel plate class. When we did the gel plate class, because I print on lots of different paper. So I will do that. Yeah, I guess that's a big one. For us Canadians, especially the women's hockey, and I'm sure the Americans too. Well, could be anywhere. It's not just, that was not actual and factual, that just Canadians and Americans are into the women's hockey. But I know here, like that's something that Rich will often watch. Remember me? Go sports. I am not the one when we come to talking about the sports stuff. Okay, so I'm putting it on the back of these. And we'll put it over the color. But because this tissue is a little thicker, it really holds that, right? So let's put our little strippy on here. Which side is it? It's this side. Crinkle, right? Because we want the texture. But you will see that possibly where that medium is will interfere or react with the ink, because ink is water soluble, right? Ooh, that was interesting, Vicky. Okay, love it. So now, see, you can see a little bit of pigment shine through. And my hands are sticky, so you don't want to lift your... So there's some pigment, some without. Let me quickly wash this off. And then I'm going to put the texture paste on. Clean your brushes when you use the multi-medium, because it will glue your bristles together if you don't clean it up. It will glue the bristles together. Okay, found a gob of paper towel here. Okay, let that dry a little bit, and we're going to put the next textural layer on top. That's me pretending there's water in that. Very good. Okay, so now we have a layer. And you could totally do this on your scrapbook pages. You could do this on your cards. I love texture, and see, it's buckled, but when the moisture leaves it, it will flatten out. So now it would be fun. We can give it a little blast with the heat gun. We'll cheat a little bit. And then I'm going to go over it with the texture paste. I wish that I would have had more time so I could have had one done for you, because some of you guys might be looking at this and going, "This, I don't know if this is my jam." But if you saw it finished, you might be more inclined, right? To try the technique, if you see what it looks like. You will in a minute. But this is a hard one to do live because drying time, right? But let's just get some of the moisture of that out. Some of the moisture out, okay? And I'm going to dry this a little bit too. Oh, I love using molding paste, texture paste. I just want to get this to start drying a little bit so I can show you this pure, in its pure form. So we just have to wait till it dries to do this, but I'll cheat a little bit before we put the next layer on. Okay, the bottom part, do you see the texture on that already? Even if you're a purist and just like the white is beautiful. And you could put a whole layer of white on top. This will dry more matte, but this is the multi-medium. And then that is your molding paste. So hopefully you can see the texture on that. It's going to be fun. So you can get your ink to sit on it. It's just that if you wet it, it will wipe right off because it does resist that. So let's go in, and I am not going to add any pigment yet. Do I want to? Maybe. I'm going to say no. Yes, I'm going to. I'm going to do that layer now with a little bit of the navy. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to add a little bit of, I think that's paint on there, a little bit of the dark blue pattern on here. And then I'm going to put the molding paste on top. What have you missed? We just put this down so far. Our tissue paper, we decoupage, we stamped on it with a permanent black ink. I used archival. And then we decoupaged it on with some acrylic, matte acrylic gel. Hello, Elise. How are you? Question, can you tint the texture paste? You sure can, but because it's white, it will be creamy. Like it won't go super vibrant, but you could use re-inker in it. It probably use a re-inker, but you got to watch. You want as little moisture in it as possible because it will dilute the viscosity of it, right? So play around. Like I always say, you could put a squirt of acrylic paint in there, but just know we'll do a test. Okay? Do you want to do? Let me put it on, and while it's drying, I will show you tinting that medium because that's what we're here for today, right? Is practice and play. So I'm gonna go in. I feel like I want to put a little navy dress blues in the background. What is on this blending tool? Not much. So gonna go in with dress blues. And we're not gonna cover this in a whole pattern. We just want to put a little bit of pattern on here, okay? I just want a background layer. I'm trying to think of how I want this to show up in layers. Okay. Ooh, I love that. And then maybe a little bit just down in the bottom corner over here. Now, do you see how that pattern works? You have this that's going horizontally, a linear pattern, and then you have this kind of dash mark pattern here. So it works very nice with this. And then I'm going to just put a little bit up here. So because it's going on the pink, it could take on a little bit of a purple tinge too, right? But this kind of gives you like an art mark vibe. Pretty, right? So we just add a little layer. Cover your inks, Vicky. Oh, that's this ink. I'm like, what's going on here? This is an old American craft stencil. I can do a new version of it though. I'll do a new version of this because they're kind of art marks. So maybe we'll do a new set that's all different art marks, right? So I'll do a new version of this. So now I'm going to go in with my molding paste with my hearts on here. I don't want this everywhere. Every time I add something, it's a little less. So I don't want to cover the whole thing in hearts, but I want like a little heart layer so that I can still see all the layers underneath, right? So every time you're kind of building from the back up, you're going to add a little bit less. Does that make sense? It's one of those lessons that you learn because you don't want to overdo all the things, because everything needs to kind of have a role, plays a role. Okay. I like it to go off the page. So I want a partial heart here. So let's go in and maybe, and then remember that one of the key things with this is that I can add texture. There is enough body to this that I can drag it and kind of put in like little side, because I want that texture. I want partial hearts. I don't want all full heart. But then I want those kind of textural, draggy marks in my texture paste. Look at that. Can you see that on there? You see that layer? I love it so much. Let's put a little. Always watch whenever you put a heavy medium on, they tend to bleed through your stencil. So if you want to move it and use it somewhere else, I always go in and give the back of my stencil a little wipe, so I'm not transferring pattern where I didn't want it. And then here, it's hard to do with one hand sometimes, right? I have been a mixed media maker for many, many moons. The thing you think when you know me, a lot of people would know me, is more through scrapbooking, because it's just kind of what paid the bills, right? But I have done mixed media art from the beginning. And it really is one of my passions, right? Is playing with mediums, doing different technique. And I want to do more of it now. I just kind of at a point in my creative career that I can do whatever I want. And I want to teach more of that. I want you guys to get comfortable doing this, because I absolutely love this. Right? So there we go. Now my medium's on here, so I'm gonna clean this off, and I'm gonna show you tinting the medium. And I'll tint it with some ink, and I'm gonna tint it with some paint, so you can see with a modeling paste, okay? Boop. Let me clean it, because it's messy. Okay. Done. We're going to set this aside to dry. And then we're going to go in and add some ink after. So I'm just putting it behind me for now. We want that to set up a little bit before I can attempt any heat gun on it. Clean off my work surface. And put a little bit of water in my sprayer too, okay? Very good. I'm a cleaner as I go. But you do you. If you like to paint the cat, it's all over the place, and that makes you feel really good, do that. I'm always like, you do what works for you, right? Any questions? Because sometimes I have to move fast with some of this stuff. So now this perfect time to ask the questions if you have it. You want to make sure with these mediums too that you seal them. Like put a layer of cling film, or what's the other one? I can't remember. The sticky one. We're going to tint this though, aren't we? Do I have a handy re-inker? Let's tint with 3 different things. Okay, so we'll put some acrylic paint. Let's grab some acrylic paint. Let's grab, what do I have here? Oh, here's re-inkers. Oh, there's a red one. We'll try a re-inker, Distress Ink re-inker. And I'm just looking through my mediums quickly here, friends. What else would you like me to tint this? Well, here, and we'll do an ink pad, okay? Press and seal, thank you. So I have a brand new fired brick. I have some acrylic paint, and then we'll use ink, and you're gonna see with tinting this, okay? So we'll do 3 different tints, and then, yay! I have a couple pieces cut, okay? So while that's drying, this is a perfect opportunity. Any other questions? But somebody said, can I tint it? I'm going to show you, right? Is there a substitute for molding paste? You can use gesso. Gesso just isn't as viscous, doesn't have as heavy body. So you can get somewhat of a result from gesso because it is thicker than other mediums. But molding paste, what makes it special is it's very viscous, meaning resists flow, so it's thick. So when it dries chalk white, depending on the one that you get. Mine is a matte drying one. But you need something that has viscosity, if that makes sense. Hello, how are you, Laura? So let's tint. So we're going to tint, and then we will stencil. Okay, so we are going to take, if you're going to tint with ink, you want your ink down first. Okay, if you're going to tint with ink, you need to get your pigment on here, and you don't want to wreck your ink pad. So you're going to put your tint down first. No water. You want this to be as dry as possible so you don't lose the thickness of your paste. Okay, so then I would go in here and look at, can you tint a paste? Yes, you can. So there we go. This is just with my ink pad. But do you see what I'm saying? That it will have kind of a creamy milkiness to it because it's white. So it's going to not be like if it was a clear medium. So then you would scrape all that back up. And let's get a stencil. And now we have tinted molding paste. Okay. And it will hold that thickness. Set that aside now, right? I'll go wipe, clean that in a minute. We'll use a different stencil with each so I don't have to get up. Paper towel. Wipe this off. Now, let's use some paint. Oh, we keep these. I love my paint boogers. It's on there. Love my paint boogers. So keeping my paint booger. So I have some acrylic paint. Clean palette knife so I don't contaminate my molding paste. And then let's see what we have when we mix it with acrylic. So I put a lot of acrylic paint down. It is definitely changing the viscosity of my, it's like tinting icing, right? But it does have a little bit more pigment with this. So the other thing you can do is on the white one, I could color on top of it, right? I could put my paint on top of it, and that would give me more paint boogers, the little dried paint that's on there. I love them. What do I have here? So let's pull this stencil. Okay, so this is darker, but it still has the pastel because it is the texture paste, right? It has that in there, so whoop. And I have watered down the consistency a little bit on this, but see, put your texture in there. It's a lot. Tap, grunge that up, and then look. Okay. I'm going to wash those in a second. Let's clean this up a little bit. And now let's try it with re-inker. What are you going to get now when you use re-inker with it? And I'll clean that off. When you are cleaning wet mediums like this too, you don't want to add water. Clean it off dry so you're not reconstituting all of that in there. Okay, boop, re-inker. It's a brand new one. This is all, and I just scratched my hair, so I probably have texture paste in my head now. It's how I roll. Just a sec here. Let's try to open it with no fingernails. I didn't catch the name of the tissue paper. I'm going to find it so I can put it, I'll add it on the Vicky Booten Creative Community on Facebook, and I'll put it in the description of the video when I'm done. Just remind me at the end in case I walk away and forget, because I am packing to go on a vacay too. But I did not want to leave you guys because I did say I would be on here this week. So I'm like, I'll do it on Sunday or on Saturday. Then I got to go finish packing. Okay, so let's take some more, put that down, and we're going to put some drops of re-inker on it. Is this on screen? So re-inker should be heavily pigmented, right? It's kind of like more pure color. So if we don't want too much of it in here though, because it's wet. And it's like adding water to your, but look at, do you see what I'm saying? Way more pigment. Because you are using heavily pigmented re-inker. But you see the moisture in that? That's the only thing that you're going to get with that is it changes the consistency of the texture paste a little bit, but you're still always going to have that milkiness because it's in white. It's mixed into a white, so it's going to go to a pastel. Okay, let's pick that up. We'll go clean this, grab another stencil, and now you see your different tinted is the word I was trying to find. Here, this one, I'll put this one. Here we go. Okay. But you see, they're still all pretty creamy, right? Okay, I'm going to clean this quick, and then we'll come back, and we're going to set up our pigment paste, or our, oh my goodness, Vicky, our molding paste. Do you see? My brain was not working. Are you going to lay in your bin, Simey? Here, I'll cover you up like a baby. There you go, baby. He lays in his bin with his Scooby-Doo blanket, and I have to cover him up. There we go. Quick rinse. See, if somebody was here with me, I could just hand it to them, but I'm a one-man show. This one-man show ran out of paper towels. Why did you get out of your bin, ding dong? Okay, one sec, friends. It's a little bit of a mess. But you want to clean it off your stencils because you will lose the integrity of the pattern if you don't. There we go. Good enough. I can finish it later. Okay. Let me just grab another craft mat. Sorry, friends, but gotta clean up that mess. Otherwise, it will all dry on there, and it's way more work if you wait till it dries. Question: What are using to scrub your stencils with? It sounds scratchy. No, just a brush. I just have a scrub brush, like I don't know, like a little almost like a big toothbrush, and then I just scrub them in the sink. But it's way easier, right? Send me an invite and I'll be your assistant. Yeah, I just need somebody where I can say, here, go clean this. So now we'll let these dry. Like, obviously, the thicker it is, the longer it's going to take to dry, right? So like this big gob right here would take longer to dry. Like, I wouldn't leave that on there, to be honest with you. It's a little too thick. So we'll fix that. Boop. And then you just let it dry. You could still put ink through here. It will resist the ink. So even if I went in with dark blue, I could buff it off when it's done. Elaborate on paint boogers. Paint boogers are when you open your paint. I'll show you because I'm sure I have them on anything because I don't clean my paints when I put them away. So if there's any excess paint inside, let's see if I can find a paint booger. It will be sitting. Of course, none of these have them. Yeah, well, this one kind of at the top. This is a paint booger. The little hard where the acrylic has hardened. So I keep them. And then I make stuff out of my paint boogers. I just like to look at them. That just brings me joy. But you could glue them with your with my matte medium. I can glue them and just put them textural. So if I had a canvas and I wanted to add them on there, I could. It's just like a little embellishment. Sometimes I just put them in there like you would sequins. I just like looking at the paint boogers. Look, we all have our weird things. Now you just found one of Vicky's. Vicky likes to keep the boogers from her paint caps. And I bet if you looked them up, I'm sure no one else calls them paint boogers. But if you find, like, there's stuff out there, you would find it. What brand of paint? I love my Liquitex. Liquitex is generally the paint that I use. I like the viscosity of it. I like the pigment value in it. I love it on my gel plate because it's thick enough that it sits where it's supposed to. So my favorite, I find the price is reasonable. I had even just ordered a whole new set. There's new colors that came out. I love Liquitex. So it would be my go-to, right? My crayons. Well, you know what? I have cases left of the neutrals and the warm. I will put those up for sale, and we will do something with the art crayons. If I could find them again, I'm telling you, are one of the best mediums for doing many, many things is the art crayons. So some of you who are new here, you're like, what is she talking about now? I have to have them here somewhere. Where are my art crayons? Here. These are my art crayons. We can have a day where it's like Ask Vicky and I will demo whatever you want. But these are heavily pigmented. They're water soluble. You can use it like a pastel. You can use it like an ink. They were really, really awesome. And why is the pigment load? You only need a tiny bit of crayon and it would go so far. And then other brands that I find are fun, but they don't have the same amount of pigment. So you go through almost a whole crayon to get a technique out of it. But really hard for us to source them. You have gelatos, you have Neocolors, you have distress crayons, you have scribble sticks. There are tons of different water soluble pencil crayons, art crayons. These just were really amazing in the amount of pigment. While we're here doing the things, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, I can't use, some are just for looks. This is fine, so I'll show you. But what else do we have? Like here's like a Neocolor. Is this a Neocolor? What is this one? Neocolor, it is a Neocolor. Do I have a Dina one handy? Because you know I have all the things. I own everything. I just don't know where it is right now. Ooh. What are you doing, Simey? Okay, I can't find it right now. So I have these. So let me show you what I do have right now. I own every medium because I love doing art, right? So here, to show you. So why these were magic, right, is, do you see how much pigment is in here? But then I could also take these and I could watercolor with them. Right? So they still will watercolor. I could take these and I can stencil with them. You could do this dry, so you can build way more pigment with it. Now my brush is wet. And why I loved these is that I could do all these things with it. So I could have one medium that will work like a watercolor, will work like an ink, will work like an oil pastel. So they're awesome. But like I said, I have them. I bought out all the stock that was left from American Crafts when they were no longer American Crafts. They're back. But like I said, you know, you'll see all the goody things they're doing and all of that. But for me, yeah, there's reasons there. That doesn't feel super good about all of that. So, I just tinted my whole thing with that. I should just use my craft mat. But yes, those are the art crayons, right? They're Vicky brands. You can find, do you know Stabilo? I have all of them. I own all of it. Every single one of those, and I buy new ones. Why I love these is they were inexpensive, heavy pigment, Could do lots of things. Like I could draw around all of that texture paste, right? All of that, all my mediums, and I could have really thick pigmented, oh, Simey. So the cat's going to walk across the desk in a minute because he is the king of the castle and he just jumped up here. So I will deal with him, but yeah, all of them. So I'm saying it's just the only thing is like I haven't found anything that replaces. Some of these are really hard, so you don't get as much pigment off of them. The gelatos are pretty, but they're almost like an oily base, so they don't have the pigment load. But yes, I'm working on it because I don't care if they have my name on it. If I could find something that's similar to them, I will bring it to you. So I'm on it. I'm on it. We're going to do all the things. So let's see if this is dry. I think they're dry enough that I can show you now. I'm going to go in with ink. So be prepared for it, friends, when the cat walks across the table, because he's going to, and then I will snag him when he's in front of me. But here he comes. Don't step on all the wet mediums, cat. And I'm here by myself today, so no one's coming to my rescue. I know how to source it. It's just some of those art companies, you have to buy in huge quantities. And I just don't think the market will support it. What are you doing? He's right beside me, friends. Hopefully he'll get down. So remember the top was the acrylic gel and the bottom is the molding paste. So now when I go in with ink, it resists. So it is a fun technique you can do with those. Right, with your inks, and you can get that fun resist. On the molding paste, so it will pick it up, but if I buff it off in wet, it's chalkier. I can remove all of that, but it's not going to resist the same way this does, right? But now, right? Do you see how ooh, look, it's so fun. If I want to buff it, right, I would just take something wet and I could buff all that pigment off, right? But it actually will hold on to more of it than the acrylic. Isn't it fun? I love it so much. So we can beef that up again. Buff it off. So it just shows you now how your two mediums will, oh, but do you see the texture on there? And I'm going to show you when we do our other one. Because that's the thing I love is that I will put it on, load it up, buff it off. Because I want to see all that texture we created with the texture paste. Yeah, the molding paste just will hold the medium in a whole different way. But I wet my paper, so I'm peeling the paper. But do you see? How pretty is that? Completely resist. Will hold on some of the pigment, but I can lift it off if I wet it. They're Vicky Boutonard crayons. So I have 2 sets left, but all the cool are sold out. You can't get them. I'll show you what the package looks like. They're posted on my site, but you can only have them in Canada until I get some to Greta in the US. But these are the art crayons. It was my favorite product that I came out with. But they were discontinued a while ago. Okay. So do you see what I'm saying, friends? How fun is that? And how beautiful is this color that Janine did for me? Doll face is certainly, pink isn't Janine's color. But I'm like, I need we don't have, this doesn't exist in my world of distress. I need like that hot pink that doesn't pull purple. Like just, I love it. So thank you to Janine for this. So this is Doll Face. It's one of the new colors from 49 and Market, and I absolutely love it. I love it. Pretty, right? So let's look at what's going on with our page. Barbie pink, it is. It's called Doll Face. So here's our page, right? I'm going to give it a blast with the heat gun. I love it too. Love it too. Oh my goodness, how interesting is that? Do you see that the blue that was behind the molding paste is shining through the hearts? It's kind of cool. I started at 12. So an hour and 40 I've been on, Wanda. So in a perfect world, you would let this dry. I would go do something else because you don't want to, oops, see it bubbling? You don't want to, it's an acrylic, right? So it kind of cures. You don't want to do anything with this until it's completely dry. If it's wet and you go and start rubbing on it, you're going to take it away. But oh my gosh, I love the texture on that. So I'm trying to cheat. I have done a comparison ink with the first release. If you look through my videos, I will tell you this. None of the colors are exactly the same as your Distress collection. All of the colors are different. So I just find that they're companion ink. If you love the world of Distress, they are for me. That's how I look at it. A complete companion ink. So I think the closest in that would be Picked Raspberry. Let me show you while we're waiting for this to dry. Because this is what today's about, right? What do you want to see? I will show you. We've got to let that dry a little bit, right? So normally if it's pretty hard on top, it's close. We'll be able to get to this today. I just can't, you're not going to be able to heat plastic, right? Like the acrylic in it. It's going to take a minute. But let's grab Picked Raspberry. Because when I have time, I will have this all swatched. Where are my swatches? Here. Let's find Picked Raspberry in here. Orange lipstick. Picked Raspberry. And let's find, oops, there goes my heat gun. Doll Face. Pinks are hard. Pink is, I find, you'll notice when you're buying paint and stuff, you don't have a ton of different papers different too. So let's see when we ink them out. Kari was out shopping for me today. I said to her, Kari, oh my goodness, did you see the beaded bags at TJ Maxx? And I showed her it last night, and Kari already went shopping. I swatch them on foundations paper, right? So let's do something here. I need a new blending tool. this is picked raspberry. So I have not swatched comparatively the two yet. So fingers crossed they're different enough, because like I said, pink is hard. It is a hard pigment, because even in my acrylic paints, I have opera pink. Like there's not a ton of pinks. Pink is a hard one. So let's see when we put these together how different they are. Okay, so dull face is, this is picked raspberry and this is going to be dull face. Yes, it is a pinkier pink. This one pulls a little bit more of like on the purple side, and this is more of a hot pink. You're going to see the difference here, okay? Do you see the difference? Is it subtle? Yes, but for me, this is more like a hot pink, Barbie pink, and this one pulls a little bit more of the purple. Can you see it? Okay. So you see they react similarly. They're different. They're not the exact same ink, but they will do similar things, right? You still can do your watermarking on it. Find a dry spot here. Okay. Similar but different. It's the same with Simon's inks. Similar but different. They're water soluble, right? So there's where they're similar. Yeah, it definitely is. Yep. It has more purple, right? Pulling the blue. This one is a little pinker. And when I can see it, you might not see it as much looking, but that is a difference. And it is very subtle. But this one pulls a little bit more pink. And for me, because I love the world of Ranger, I love having all of them. And then the other thing I can say is my collections, I color match to 49 and Market. I color match to Ranger inks. Because I don't use cardstock anymore, I'm going to color match to what I would need it to match with, which is inks, because I do a lot of mixed media, right? I do a lot of mixed media. So let's see this as a wet technique, okay? And then our stuff hopefully is dry enough to do something with it. Boop. I have one more sheet here. And we will put down with the kissing technique. Okay, so again, picked raspberry at the top. And we'll see, will it make much of a difference when we water this ink down? Yes, and I love the pinks with orange. It's one of my favorite color mixes is pink and orange. I like to wear it too. Okay, so the Ranger up top. Now here is the so that is all totally your choice if you need to have them or not. I love mediums. I buy all the mediums. I own all of Diane's, Dina's, Simon's. I love Tim, have loved Tim forever. And then obviously the 49 and Market. So you will see the only thing I noticed, this pulls a little bit more of the blue, so you get purple in there. And then this one is just a little bit more on the pink side. When they're wet, very similar. But I can see it when I ink it out. So if that answers any questions, right? You're going to see it more in other colors, but this one just for the comparison between these two. That one you might not even notice a difference, right? When it's wet. But not surprised, because like I said, pink, the hardest one. I think you're limited with pigment. You're limited with a pigment for these, right? But I love it. But when you get into your pink sands and your watermelon and some of these peaches, she's extending like that kind of that palette, right? And then it's what matches the papers. When you say like, why the 49 a market, is Janine's whole goal is to match with all of the designers that are designing product lines, like the ink colors that these are, we match the papers to, right? We match the papers to it. So if do you have to go out and buy like a whole new set of inks? No. Pick the colors you love. If you love 49 and Market, you would want the ink set because they're always going to match. Even the stuff that I do on my own, I still match these colors between all the Ranger colors. Like I'll still match that palette if that helps. But I notice it here. I notice it in here. This pulls a little bit blue. This is a little bit more pinky pink. Okay. Boop. Let's see, where did I put? Okay. Are we close? Because you'll feel it starts to get hard. I just don't want it to be mushy. So when I go to blend around it, that it's gonna like lift it off the paper. So you could put this, you could put all your ink down and leave this as a white layer on top when you're using the molding paste, or you could tint it. Like I'm going to go in and tint, and I'm going to start with a lighter color and then go in with a darker, so we can do a color blend. So I think I would like to use the pink sands and the doll face. So let's find another. These are all clean. I don't have them set aside for each. One day I will be that organized, but right now I am not. So I just wash them in the sink and then throw them in a container and pull them out and reuse them. Okay. So I'm going to go in and deposit some pigment. And I'm going to go in with the Pinky Peach of Pink Sands first. Oh, I love it. And then I'm going to rub some of the okay. So on this one, I'm going to not put it everywhere. I'm going to put some of it down here and a little up here. But I want to leave an area that will give pure. Okay, look at on that texture. How pretty, right? So you could take a slightly damp, clean, trying to find a clean area. And you could buff it off. See, it will lift right off where now the pigment is under it. Find a new spot, paper towel. See, I was able to lift the color off of that. You'll see it down here. So see how peachy they are? And then I can lift some of that pigment off. And the wetter my paper towel, the more lift I will get. Okay, so let's go in with some doll face. Is Simon here? I was just talking about you, Simon. I love me some Simon Hurley. So look, let's go in now and lift some areas with the pink. So we'll put that doll face on here. I love Simon Hurley. I really want to get a lot of pigment in some of the areas because I'm going to buff that off the top. Okay, so see down here? So I show you. See? Pretty solid, right? But you can see the texture from the molding paste. But now I'm going to go in with this damp paper towel and I'm going to start buffing that off because I want it to sit in the nooks and crannies just like a good English muffin. But I want the pigment on the background. So see that? Can you guys see it? I hope you can. And I find a new spot on my paper towel so I'm not redepositing pigment. And it can't be really wet. You just want it to, if it's really wet, you're going to lift all the pigment off. So you are actually kind of using friction. But I like to layer this a little bit, put a little bit more on. Because it's going to sit on that paper. You can't lift it off the background, but you can start to lift it off here. And we still can put our watermark. We'll do the watermarking last though. I am going to go in with a little bit of engine number 9. Engine number 9. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. What song is that? Old rap song. Okay, so let's buff some of that in there. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Did he have an oopsie spoiler? Well, I can't wait to see what the oopsie spoiler, what the result is going to be, Simon. So let's go in here now. Don't want that too wet. And let's buff some of that red off. Bring those hearts back up to the top, right? I love it. I love it. I'm here for it, Simon. Yeah, Simon has amazing products with Ranger. Like I said, I use all of them. I am a lover of that company and all of the signature artists that work there and make all that amazing product for us to use. Right, so we'll bring that back up to the top, and then I'm going to do a little bit of watermarking to break up that background. So see, there we go, friends. How pretty is that? So see, because I just have some blobs. Nobody wants blobs, so you could just go in with your paintbrush. I'm going to just put a couple water drips on here to break that up. I love it. The daughter is home. And you could also deposit some paint drips in here too. How pretty is that, friends? Isn't that pretty? This one, this side's a little subtler, so you don't have to go in with as much ink, right? You could just leave it with the little bit of peach on there. And the pigment was behind the tissue on this side, so if you want a softer and subtler look, I do want to break this up here. Oh, that's bugging me. There we go. What do you guys think? Hi, Kathy. Maybe in here too a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Little blast. So a little heavier with the pigment, softer if you kind of want the more white on top of all of it. And then, like I said, when your tissue paper is completely dry, instead of cutting it, let's see if I can find a nail file. Because a nail file is where it's at, if I can find one. This is when you know you have to clean your space. Is anybody with me? Vicky Booten's space needs an overhaul. Okay, let's look. There's one. Just had to go to my fake nail packs. Found a nail file. There we go. Located. Right, and now you take your nail file. And then that will cut that away. See, get you right to the edge, especially if it's a better nail file than what I'm using. But that's how I've always cleaned my tissue paper. So say you want to do like a cover of an album and you want to do tissue paper, that's how you get that nice clean edge nail file. I don't cut it because I can't cut right up to the edge. I can't cut through all those layers that I've created. So if I use my nail file, I get a really clean edge. My space is a pigsty. I can't find anything. So it's on my list. But when you do this as a job, it becomes very hard because I'm always like, what do I not do today to do this? What am I going to give up working on today? And I'm in the middle of design. And when you think about it, right? Between design for Sizzix, design for paper collections, class planning, because I do a lot of travel teaching, it means the trade-off of what do you not work on because you're working on this. So another tip, can I give you one more tip? Sorry, make you deaf. If I had my stencil over here, I could also place my stencil on top and use it to, what's the word I'm looking for? to, when you want to separate something, like you want to use something as a buffer to separate it. What is that word I'm looking for? One of you guys is going to help me. Not mask. It's not mask, but it's like keeping one thing separated from another thing. One of you is going to say the word I'm trying to come up with. When you put this in your journal, will you put media on the back side? Yeah, sometimes. Not a barrier, but I'll come up. It's not that none of those words make sense. It's not the word I'm trying to come up with. I want to separate it from everything else. So imagine, because I'd have to find where I use the stencil too. But if you wanted isolate, the word I'm looking for, Vicki, oh my goodness, and you said it, and Mary, as soon as I looked over at you, I said isolate, and then I looked at you and you had it, isolate. That's the word I was looking for. So you would just have to find where you use the stencil, like line the heart up, and you could go in there. Let's see if I can do it a little bit. Right, because this is not a repeatable. You'd have to find exactly which hearts you used. And I don't know if that's going to be easy enough. But I could go on here and I could color these hearts. Does that make sense? Like we could go on here, find where I use the stencil, because it would have to line up because they're not all exactly the same. And if I wanted to isolate those so that I wanted to add a different color of pigment on top, I could totally do that. You just would have to find where you use the stencil. And of course, this one is not as easy. I could do it, and I would just be sitting here for a minute until I found exactly where it fit. Does that make sense? But like I said, you'd need to find which part of the stencil that you used where, so that you could line that up. And I would like it to be super easy, because now I want to show you what I'm talking about. But of course, nothing is easy. And then you could go in and you could add pigment, or you could put rub and buff, a little bit of gold. I want to do it. So now I got to try to figure out where this went in here, because now I 100% want to do that. I want to buff some metallic on top of these. Because wow, for foiled hearts, right? Can you make this happen for me, please? Somebody make this happen for me. But I could cheat. We'll cheat. I'm going to try to cheat. Okay. Flip the stencil. I'm trying, but did I use the back of it by accidents? Maybe I did. You're probably smarter than I am. Oh, I did. I did use the back of the stencil. I didn't use the front side. But now, I still want to show you guys because it's going to be fun. But nothing's working. Because nothing is easy like that, right? No. So pretend you could do that. But I'm going to try to just be careful. And just rubbing this on the raised bits. This also works beautifully on the tissue paper. I want very little on my finger when I do this. But if you isolated it with your stencil, would make it way easier that you are not going to put it where it shouldn't be. If that makes sense. Now look. How pretty is that? Now we have foiled hearts. And this also works beautifully on the tissue paper. So we'll do that on this side, okay? Because this is raised, I can do this. Sorry, I'm hyper focused. So if you're asking questions, I will answer in a second. They go on that side. That added just that little bit of something, something, didn't it? I love it. Now, I would not recommend a lot of you just go in there, what do you call that? Like, don't go in there all hog wild if you are newer to this thing, because you could ruin the whole thing if your layers aren't very thick. But that's why isolating it with your stencil, gold finger, but it will clean right off. But there's something with gold and pink, right? But look, it's coming right off. But if you put your stencil on top and isolate it, not willy-nilly, I don't know, it was probably a little obnoxious what I was going to say, but full bore, right? Because, oh, that just did exactly what it needed to. Like, see, this side's a little cleaner, and that one's got a little bit more business going on. But if I put my stencil, if I could have lined that up, so be more conscious of it when you're doing it, and then rub on here, would keep it cleaner, right? Question. Oh, adding to the journal. What was the question? Would I still work on the back of this? Sure, I would. Yeah, I would 100% still work on the back of this in my journal. Was that the question? Is that what it was? Because I'll have to go back through. But see it on the tissue? Oh, I love it so much. We will revisit this technique. We'll do more with this. But yeah, 100%, because there's different things I could do. Want to see? Watch. So let's score this like it's going in my journal. Okay. Page. Done. And then when it's all dry, I'd shape it a little bit more. This little section is really annoying me. So let's finish it as Vicky would. As I would. I love that, Debbie. Then I'm doing exactly what I set out to do. Debbie is saying you're making me want to pull my stuff out and make stuff. Perfect. That's kind of what I set out to do, right? So I feel like I need to, oh yeah, that is what that needed. That's the little finishing toucher. That makes me happy. Now Vicky's happy because that was bugging me. That was just like a blob of crap sitting there. There. The addition of the gold just really pops it. It's very pretty. And can I tell you, I get complete joy from making this, and I don't care if it's a card, I don't care if it's a layout, but what's awesome when you're doing something like this is it can totally go in your art journal, your practice journal, and I can take this now and I have a reference for technique now. There's no reason I can't take this like I would pull a recipe card and go, what am I going to bake today or cook today? You can pull this out and go, what am I going to make today? I'm totally going to do this technique in whatever color palette you want. Right? In whatever color palette you want. Let's get that extra ink off because I'm not patient enough to wait for it to dry. And we're going to put this in our journal, and I'm going to show you something right now before we wrap her up for today. So let's score it like it's going to go in my book. And I'm going to leave this as a center page in the spread, because I do want to see both sides of it. So I'm going to take this. I'm not cutting it. I'm scoring it. If I can find anything to score it with, because Vicky's room is a mess. So whatever I can use at this point, because I don't know where anything is. Eek. That is not it, though. I'll tell you that. There's another ball burnisher. Okay. Oh, actually, I am going to... No, we won't. You could cut this, and I could put washi around it because these pages lay a little flatter. Did not do a very good job measuring that, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, you guys know when we talked about this that sometimes the thicker paper, what I do is you could have 2 sheets and you could washi it, right? I put washi tape on. And then put it in there. You could make tissue tape. But this one I'm going to put in my book. It's going to be the center page. So that totally will work, right? Totally will work in my journal. And then remember, I have these too, right? So I could totally just adhere that on here, sew it onto the back if I wanted to. Right? Trim it down a little bit, and that could be my back page for this one because it's not making it thicker in the middle. Because I made it, it still has to go in here, right? So that could go here. Watch, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to trim it down a little bit, and I'm going to show you that I'm going to do what I'm going to do with this. What was it, 8.5? So I'm going to just make that a little bit. Watch. You can use your tip and tape. You can use lots of different things, but I'm going to use what I have. I don't have that, so I'm just going to use what I own, which is 20 million pieces of washi tape. I have all my old gaffers type tape too from 7 Gypsies. But look, we can totally do this. I'm going to do this as an interactive page. Because we can, because some of you might have made this with me or have it in your stash. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to attach this, but I'm going to make it a side flap. It's going to go in there as a side flap in my book. So I still can put something fun underneath. Oh my goodness, my corner around is right here. It knew. So let's make something right now. Oh, guess what? Watch how fast I'm going to make this page. Watch me work. Everything's falling on the floor, so just let me find the other stencil I wanted to use. What do we have? Work it out, baby. You're driving me crazy. With a little bit of soul now, work. I can mash potato. I can do the twist. Now tell me, baby, do you like this? This is a catchy one you got to watch, because it catches a little bit. Because this is what I want you to be doing with your art journal practice book, right? Is to just play. Line that up again. Actually, I'm going to offset. Do you see that? I'm going to go in with my second color and I'm going to offset that pattern. Ooh, pretty. You don't have to do this while it's in the book. I'm just being lazy. Ooh, look at my paper towel's dirty. So some gold is on there and stuff. Okay, stop cheating, Vicky. Right? Boop. Heat gun. And another way to add your tape, your tissue that you just did, is with a glue gun, a glue stick. So this is another option because I still have this piece right here. Right? I'm going to add it maybe here. Okay? And the reason I'm going to use the glue stick now is it won't have as much moisture. So put it down like snot, like you want it to be pretty thick so it doesn't dry up on you too fast. And now you can put your tissue paper on there like that. I'm okay if the edge is lifted there. I could put some more glue stick underneath it if I wanted to. But I can put my folds in there. I know, you're like, gross, Vicky, but yeah. You do need it to be pretty thick. I'm telling you, I'm going to get you guys way more into junk journal, art journal. I've been doing this for many moons. People who have been following me for a long time will know. I've worked with Ranger for years, worked with Tim, worked with Seven Gypsies, have always done this kind of art, right? That could spread over to the other side if I didn't want to waste it, which I'm going to do. I'm going to bring that tissue to this side. Not all of it. This has to be snipped off, but the side piece I can. What? Yeah, it's not as much a junk journal class in, it is a trifold album, the one in Kitchener, okay? So we're going to use irresistibles, so you will need ink and such, but it is more, it's not going to be this exactly like this. It's more of a, it's going to be a little bit more mini album. Okay. But using something that's going to be brand new. Oh, with the other teacher, I understand. I understand. Yeah, hers is definitely junk journal. Yep, she's doing some awesome techniques. Okay. All right, let's look. So now I have that. And now I'm going to add this here as a flap for that page. One of my glue. There it is. Okay. And this isn't decorated or anything. I could go in and use my ephemera, because maybe you aren't into photo-based scrapbooking, right? But you like the stuff. So you might still like some of the embellishments that I use and all the rest. There's no reason you couldn't go into this book and decorate that. So now I have an interactive page with the art we did last week in my art journal. Right? And then I will, once that dries, I can add something to the back, or I could put photos in there if I wanted to. Let's clean all the mess so you can see, because it is distracting. Look at two, these are almost dry. Our tinted molding paste. And this one, I'm going to cut that and put it in here somewhere. Look. Right? I can totally go on here if I wanted to. Why waste it? And it can be a layer in there too. Could put it here if I wanted to. So don't waste this stuff. That's all art that you can use. And then that one I inked right in my book. It's going to go in like that. And there's another page in my journal. But I could do any of these techniques on a card. I could do these techniques on a scrapbook page. They could go in my art journal, right? So I really want you to open your way of thinking and your mind about how to use this. So if you're looking at this and you're just joining me and you're like, I don't do art journaling, so this isn't for me, that's not true, because it does not have to go in your art journal. You could do any of these techniques, which I just find expands the fun. It expands the use of the products. If you're a collector of distress inks and you have all these mediums you bought you never use, you could put it on a canvas. Yeah. You could decorate, maybe the kids you're going to the dollar store and you buy a little wooden box. You could paint it and you could do all these techniques. You could make yourself today, if you want to do something for Valentine's Day or this weekend, you could do a really fun altered wood box that you could put your jewelry in or all of your little special things. These techniques will work on any of that, right? So this, what's the question? Did she run tape on the edge and then glue? I did, just to give it extra so it doesn't fall out, right? But this would be really fun to run through my sewing machine. And then I still would decorate this. Like I could still go in with my washies and such after too, right? That I could put washi down the edge, right? So I did use both just to give it a little extra sticky, a little extra stickiness. But we haven't done much in here yet, right? But we'll be able to add. And we made this out of trash. We made it out of a cardboard box, right? And I love that when we're doing these. If I sat down and we sat to do this and then make a layout, we'd be here for even longer. But just for the technique part of this, I think it's well worth this, right? Yeah, I had it off the edge. So you didn't see it because it was off the edge. Any questions about today? I love this though. Look at that. I'll take a picture and post it. But I love this. If I wanted to put photos in here, I could totally put a photo strip in here. It would be awesome. Journaling, embellishing. The colors turned out pretty. The pink, I think, right? With the navy, and then the gold and the black, of course. So do you have any questions? So friends, I don't know if I'll be on here next Friday because we'll be home, but I don't know. It's cutting it close, but maybe I'll pop in on again either on Saturday or Sunday and we'll do something. So I love how that turned out. I love it in this book, my little book of magic that was literally made from trash. These are just elastic bands I bought. Could I do something way more fancy? Yes, but I wanted this to be a basic that anybody could do. Anybody could make this. So I'm not using, I have tons of bookbinding stuff I could use, but I just went simple with this. But I love how it turned out, right? Love how that turned out. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to flip the camera. Have you thought about making any sprays? Probably not, Heather. Never has been my jam because I'm not going to lie. Here, I'm going to tell you a story when I'm going to look you in the eye first. Let me put this close. Ooh, you get to see the mess that is my abode here. Sorry. Trying to hold this closer so you guys can see. Look at with the gold. Now you can see, right? Pretty. It's pretty. And I'll flip the camera. And not up my nose. Not up my nose. Or all those chins. Did you just get to see all those chins? I love it. I love how that turned out. Trying to get the light, but it's hard. Vicky and sprays. They're too messy for me. So I own all of them, but I don't use them really as sprays. And I was around with the world of Tattered Angels. Like I worked with them. I taught with them. They go everywhere. So probably not, see, I have control issues. So it's not that they're not beautiful, but normally there's tons of pigment in them and they go everywhere. So I have all of them. I still own all of it. I have the Adirondack inks. Do you remember Adirondack sprays, which were incredibly pigmented? So you would look like somebody ran over you with a truck because those colors wouldn't wash off. Was a gold stencil. You could use stencil butter. You could use lunar paste, right? You could use Simon's lunar paste. Rub and Buff would be awesome because it's drier. This one has more moisture. Rub and Buff is like a wax. It's a wax. I love if you can find it. I'm going to be carrying some of this stuff. I used the Vicky Bouton one, right? I use mine. They've been around for a very long time. Very long time. If you still have them. They're still up in my store, but only Canadian side. But we'll talk lots of me. I'm gonna just reintroduce you because I bet you guys, a lot of you have this stuff and you just don't pull it out. I love this. I love that I can still scrapbook traditionally with this, but the art side of taking something completely blank and putting my own mark on it is just something special. So I wanted today to be something special for Valentine's Day. I had it in my head. It didn't turn out exactly like it was in there, but it was better. I love it. So I hope you see what I'm talking about is mixing your pattern, that the hearts were kind of center stage, but putting that text on the tissue paper and then having this linear aspect that's going vertically, your patterns all work really well together. And then, oh, the piece de resistance was adding that gold. I love it. This makes me super happy. And I feel like these ones, if you guys have been here, who's been here since the beginning? That some of it as I'm going, are you ever like, oh, looks like cockapoo-poo. Like, what is she doing here? Like, I'm going to hang out because I got to see where this is going to go, but hate it, not my thing. And then we get to the end and you're like, okay. Or, wow, I love it. Or, still cockapoo-poo. It's totally okay. Because like I said, you won't love everything I do, but if you love a few of the things or it gets you excited to make and you keep showing up, then I've done my job. Because once I'm Hotel California, you can enter, but you can never leave. Because I feel like once you're my friend, you got to stay and be my friend. So I hope you enjoyed that. I love that you guys come and join me, and that we have a lot of fun. And like we talk about the cruises and all of the things, and maybe you can't do all of the things, but I feel like the community, we have something for everybody. There's something here, right? So I will be back possibly on Friday, if not one of the days on the weekend, to do something. If you have any requests, friends, I'm going to try, but I have all those orders to get out because I will come back for my little mini vacation and I have all those orders for the Canadians to get out. So I might not be back this next weekend. It'll be a surprise. I'll let you know. But as I'm thinking about it, I have a lot to get out. There's probably about 100 orders that I have to pack. So that is my number one first priority. Number one first priority is to get everybody their stuff, and then we'll go from there. And then I'm going to be using Irresistibles. I'm going to be using my new stencils, which I'm using all the time. I'm going to be using the Sizzix, and we're going to be using more of the inks. So be watching for it. And as always, just watch what my design team is doing too, because that crew is doing some amazing stuff. So have a wonderful Valentine's Day, my friends. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope you can etch out a little time to create. Please post and tag me if you make something you're inspired after this little mini class. And if you haven't joined already, make sure you do. Vicki Boutin Creative Community Group page on Facebook. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you have here on YouTube and thumbs up the video. Thanks, friends. Next week is... I have design work because I'm starting on my next collection and working on next Sizzix, which is for 2027, but only doing a little bit. But I will be 100% taking a little break to recharge the battery so I can come back better than ever, right? So we'll see you later, guys. If you have any questions, reach out to me at info@vickyboutin.com. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your weekend and your Valentine's Day, and we'll see you later, guys. Bye. And it's up here.